Shalom Israel. First, we're going to start by giving all honor, praises, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Recha Kodash. Okay, double honors to the elders, apostles, and bishops of GMS Great Millstone who rule well, teach and edify, and peace and blessings, and to you sincere Akim and Aquad in this household of faith. My name is Yeshaya from the GMS Arizona Church here in pt.1, or Yahweh Ratazah, in the Heavenly Father's will. Going to make an edifying video, going into let us keep pushing. Okay, let us keep pushing. Do all the bullshit, do all the things. The whole nine. Let us keep going. And this is a spirit that the elders, the beloved elders, beginning with Elder Apostle Tahar on down, push. As a means of, because we're close to the end doesn't mean that you slow down or let up off the gas. Okay, regardless of how, this, being in the world is like, this is insufferable, and me saying that as a younger brother doesn't mean nearly half as much as it could mean to brothers that been in this for longer than I've been alive, right? And that's the bottom line, is even those beloved elders that been doing it for that long, been like that, been, in the spirit day in, day out, through all the bumps and bruises, are still pushing headlong, okay? Making their hour-long video live streams 4 or 5 times a day. You're waking up in the morning, to be like 5 in the morning, the apostles is live. That's the thing. Looking at the Yahweh Shai, the author and finisher of our faith, within each brother is a portion of Yahweh Shai. Each brother has Yahweh Shai in him in some way, shape, or form. And then the apostles, they have that diligence. The elders, they have that diligence. The bishops, right? They have that diligence, Yahweh Shai, to love this work, to do this work, and to, to be in this thing, okay? And, talking about the work, but also talking about, even how you walk in his faith, to push forward in striving for righteousness, okay, to push forward in the spirit of offending less, right, and to push forward in the spirit of just walking worthily in this truth, okay? But let's get into it. Actually, I'm going to start with Philippians 3:14. Okay, it's Philippians chapter 3. That's not Philippians. In verse 14, actually, I'll probably start at 13. It says, "Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before." Okay, really just focusing on the next step. Okay, but it says, "I press towards the mark for the prize of the high calling of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai." Right, pressing forward towards that high calling. In the verse 14 in the NLT, it says, "I press on to reach the end of the race and receive the heavenly prize for which the Lord, through Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, is calling us." All right, so we're being this heavenly calling, this heavenly pride, this heavenly pride. Not doing this like for the rest of the world, how they're in the spirit of doing this. 1 Corinthians, the 9th chapter, elaborates perfectly. It says in the 24th verse, it says, "Know you not that they which run in the race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run that you may obtain." Okay, running that you may obtain the prize doesn't mean, the last 10 meters of your 100-meter dash, you're just damn near jogging. You're running a marathon. The last 2-3 miles of your marathon, you just take a break. Nah, you have to keep on with that same consistency. It's going to be rigorous. It's going to be difficult, and that's ultimately what we have to go through. All right, we shall, even in the elect shall scarcely be saved. Okay, these missiles going to be coming down, and Lord willing, may we be a part of the elect. The elect are going to be going up as they're coming down. It's going to get to the rope like that. Scarcely be saved. All right, it's better, like the scripture says, it's better to enter into the kingdom maimed. Right, and this is what this run is going to do. Okay, You see runners after a long run, their fucking shins all split, feet is all bloody and shit. You know, they got pissed, you know, they fucking pissing blood and all that, you know. Hey, but at the end of the day, they finished the race and they finished first. And that's the prize, you know. And we, you know, Lord willing, we be a part of the elect. We wanna push forward. We want to keep on doing this thing, okay, and doing it to the best of our ability, you know, doing it with all of our strength and all of our might. But it says and look unto Yahweh Shai. You know, he pushed forward in his life, you know, when he was here in the flesh. You know, looking unto Yahweh Shai, when he was walking here in the flesh, you know, he always knew what the mission was from the beginning. Have that heavy burden to know that you're here to die, when you're going to die, how. That's harsh, okay? And the Lord did it. He went through it all for the sake of the nation of Israel. How he did that for those that he loved. You can't forget the Lord and the things that, you know, he's done for us as well. You know, you going through this walk, you know, maybe sometimes it would be good to read John the 19th chapter again. You know, going through, you know, looking at what the Lord went through for us. You know, understanding that it's bigger than just yourself. You know, that a level of self-willed and a level of selfishness can enter into a person and make them, not want to work. And ultimately, that's tied to fear. To not fearing Yahweh Hashem Yahushua enough. Not, you know, understanding too, like, you know, what other way is there to go about it? There's none, okay? The fashion of this world passes away, okay? This world ain't gonna save shit, okay? It's gonna all pass away. You know, the earth shall remain, but, you know, the fashion of this world is gonna pass away. There's no salvation in any other thing. All of this shit's gonna die. All these fake-ass idols gonna get burnt up. All these fucking Muslim churches gonna get fried here in Babylon and destroyed completely off the face of the earth. You know, all these Mormon temples, all these everything. There's no other salvation other than Yahweh Shai. All of this shit's gonna get charred. All these people who aren't of the elect, they're gonna get fucking burnt. Right? Charred. Okay, and with no hope. Alright, but, you know, you part of the elect, we understand that the prize that comes from going through the difficult things now. You know, this is that straight gate, Matthew the 7th chapter, starting at the 13th verse. That straight gate. Straight is the gate, hard is the way. You know, it's not going to get any easier, but you do, and you have to get stronger, you know, through the grace and mercy of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Right, through the gifts that he grants unto you, you know. Brothers always say, like, this truth will take you to a point of insanity. But at the same time, you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, man. But, reading on, it says, and every man strive for the mastery, Salakia. And every man that striveth for mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. I therefore so run, and we an incorruptible. They a corruptible, we an incorruptible. We labor for a purpose. They're laboring for nothing. You know, everybody that be out here trying to labor to grow, you know, get fruits in this world, or even the people that try to do like good Samaritan things, like people that do soup kitchens and all that stuff like that. You know, you're laboring to try to be a better person in the community, but if you're not, you know, following and laboring for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, all those things are going to come to naught. Okay? It says, now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air. So not purposefully. You know what you're fighting. You know the task at hand. And that's been made clear to us through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai through his prophets. It says, but I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. So that's the thing. Keep it under your body. Right? In the NLT, it says, I discipline my body like an athlete, training it to do what it shouldn't. You know, mortifying your members, getting control of yourself, bro. Understanding to fear Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, understanding that there's a task at hand and there's work to be done, and fuck how you feel, okay? You know, the flesh is going to want to get you killed, but, you know, you have to pray to the Lord, you know, and gird up thy loins. You know, the scriptures talk about gird up thy loins as a man, okay? You got to be a man about it. You got to handle your business. You know, and it's easier said than done, but, you know, that's when self-reflection, you know, comes in. through the Spirit. That's when counsel comes in. Like, okay, like let's get this. Let's get at it. Humbly. Even asking brothers for prayers too. Like, brother, like I'm really struggling with my discipline. I'm really struggling with this, and I'm really struggling with that, and I just can't shake it. Baba Gushai, pray for me. The level. You have to come down sometimes, thinking that you're too good for certain things. But hey, Acts 14:22 says, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in faith, that we through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. To continue in the faith, but also, being exhorted that we, going straight to the point, is that we must through much tribulation. And it says we must, not we may or we might. We must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's the bottom line. This is the way the Lord wrote it out. You love the Lord, you fear the Lord. The way the Lord wrote it out is perfect, okay? We accept it. This is a part of counting the cost when you first came into this truth. So rock the 2nd chapter as well. If thou comest to serve the Lord, prepare thyself for temptation, okay? It's going to tempt you. Satan's going to tempt you. This devil's going to tempt you. This bullshit is going to tempt you. The flesh is going to tempt you. All these things are going to tempt you to go off, all right? To just leave it alone, to be lackadaisical, to be lukewarm. But Revelation 3:16, if thou art lukewarm, I will spew thee out of my mouth. All right, the Lord isn't playing, okay? The apostle said, in a video, and it really kind of struck me. He was like, you play with your dog, you play with your cat, you play video games, you don't play with Yahweh Shem Yahushai. It's a simple thing, but it's not. It's like, damn. Like, at times, you could find yourself playing with this, not really, kind of halfway in it. Like, hey, you call it all Yahweh Shem Yahushai and this and that, but then you're not even doing the works. You're not even doing what you got to do. You're not walking in the ways of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You're not walking worthily behind closed doors. Okay, this is a deathly serious thing, and an eternal level deathly serious too. Not even just like, in his life, it's eternally deathly. But I don't think I'm gonna get all of these. I'll probably get 2 Timothy 4:7 and Hebrews 10:36 because my phone is starting to die. I thought I had a charger up in here, but I don't. But Hebrews 10 and verse 36. It says, for we have need of patience, that after you've done the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you might receive the prize. So we're now, doing the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, doing the works, trying our best to, do what we're supposed to do. But then at the same time, you might receive the prize of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay? You might be one of those 144,000 elect that are going to get delivered in this lifetime. Okay? Might, because at the end of the day, all those who aren't of 144,000 are going to take that RFID microchip. All those that aren't of that, are going to turn their back on Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, and that's a heavy thing to think about. And if you already start turning your back here on earth by giving up the works, not walking to the best of your ability righteously, then eventually it's like, what the fuck? What more could you expect when you was giving it half-assed now, when we were not even striving under blood? How much more then when we are? That's the thing, like, observing yourself, like, shit, like, I'm low-key not doing the right thing. Like, I need to get right back in. I got to make sure my ducks are in line, right? The elders and apostles showed us the ropes, and now it's a matter, now it's about picking it up and doing it. Like, this is a difficult thing that we're involved in, but you accepted it, all right? This is your life, and this is what you love to do, okay? And 2 Timothy 4:7, I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day, and not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing. So, that crown that's stored up in heaven. This is what we're working for, We're storing up our riches in heaven, okay? Building up that spiritual bank account. Okay, and Lord willing, we may be delivered at the end of all this. Being the fact that, Lord willing, we part of those 144,000 elect. But hey, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to lastly give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem,